Hello, and welcome to Wood Wars. Of course, with the new update, I can try things with the mangrove trees, and I'll probably do that on a later date, but we're still sticking to our same woods right here. Every single one of these, and it'll be a bit too annoying to get through all of that, then to add a whole other wood into it. So, you can see all the chaos behind me. Why don't we get right into it? First one is dark oak. So we're starting with dark oak as usual. And as you know, we have to only use dark oak wood for this. And as you can see, we follow the path. As you can see, this is a very overgrown build. I went for something overgrown to fit the dark oak foresty kind of vibe. And even though it's not technically a house, more of an enchanting room, I thought it still fitted the building aspect of it. Because as I said, at the end of the day, it is a small plot of land I can build on, so I can get creative. Up on the top, I put a little garden. It's probably not really that necessary to put a garden in here, but I thought a nice garden would look really nice with it. And genuinely, I think it's a very cute build. It's a bit overgrown, it's very dark and light, and it does really fit the vibe. So we're going into Spruce Wood, and we're gonna have some fun. Spruce Wood! Now, Spruce Wood, as I said before, is a very homey kind of vibe. And it's a lot of fun to have. So my build choice was a tower. There's actually no way to get to this floor, it's just kind of aesthetic. But I built it in a way where there's contrast to it and it really isn't just bland. There's a little contrast. Of course I could have added more, but for the size of the build, I couldn't really go overboard with it. So that's what I did. On the inside, I put in a bunch of different things. Like somebody just came in here, put all their stuff away, and just started doing whatever they want. You know, like, this is a stop. This is where the person stops, where they put all their armor and everything. This is the place where that is. I think it's a very cute build. Of course it could use some work, because after all, with each of these builds, they're each based off of my own ideas. I try not to get too much inspiration from other people's builds, because I love getting inspiration, but most of all I love trying new things with what I know already, and the things that I'm learning. So each of these builds has some form of inspiration, of course, but they're very much my style, and I'm really worried that one day I'm going to have a style which is similar to someone else's. But I really hope my style hasn't accidentally gone into someone else's style. But I hope as long as that hasn't happened, I think it's a very cool little build, and I'm really happy with it. Normal oak. Oak. Alrighty. So down here we have a windmill. It's just a cute little windmill with the calcite, the deep slate, and the oak. There isn't too much to the build. It's very crowded, it has a lot of wheat around it. A lot of barrels, like it's absolutely been stuffed full with plants and wheat and everything. With a little room up here, with the barrel. We had 2 flower pots and a bed. It's a very airy room. So the person here just loves the cool air, apparently. Down the ladder. So yeah, this one I haven't actually built a windmill for, so I was very excited to try something new. And so yeah, the black wool, the fences, because I have seen people use these items for windmills before. So I tried to make it look like it's moving. I added a bit of texture to the outside with the trapdoors. I added some stability with the walls. And honestly, this was a lot of fun. I was very worried how this one would turn out, but I think it turned out rather nicely. Birch. I have to admit, with Birch, I really went out of my comfort zone. I didn't go big out of my comfort zone, but I did go out of my comfort zone. I used red and I used Birch. Now, on a much bigger build, this would probably look absolutely this would look absolutely divine. Like, I think this color palette would actually go really well together. Though I do like it as it is, I do think it does need more to it. But for what it is, it's very small, very compact, but at the very least it has room for everything you need. You could even put a crafting table under there. You could just put a furnace up there if you really needed to. And my inspiration for this was those little beach houses you would see in movies and everything. It doesn't look exactly like a beach house, of course not. But that was just the vague inspiration to put in the red. Other than that, the rest was all just my creative thought. And I really enjoy it. I don't know whether it's good or not. I do really like it. But of course, everyone has their own opinion on what things look good or not. But despite its weird textures and everything, I think they all seem to meld well together somehow. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. Acacia. Acacia was probably the one I was most worried about, because I wanted to really go out of my comfort zone with this one and build a mine. Honestly, I'm really happy with the mountain I made here. I built a little barricade. There's coal everywhere. There's just a minecart. In a minecart. Put it away. Some skulls, some dripstone, making it look like this was put into a cave. I have the acacia logs holding it all together, keeping the roof up and everything. Acacia planks and slabs as the flooring, with a bunch of other small things added in. I think it's a very interesting build. It was a lot of fun to make. There is a lot to it. There's a lot of ground to it. There's snow, there's calcite, there's all different types of stone, there are ores, and I genuinely think I really had fun with this one. It's a bit overboard, I will admit, overkill for the tiny little plot it has. 'Cause like, yeah. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I honestly couldn't have preferred better. It's a bit awkward looking, a bit funky looking, but I think that's what is its best point about it, is that it's a bit odd. It's very odd. But at the same point, it sort of gives off this really creepy, dark and deep kind of underground vibe, which I think acacia with stone and everything gets a really cool vibe to it. Plus I wanted to try something I'd never done before, which is this kind of underground build, because I built tons of things underground in my Minecraft days, but I just haven't built something so obvious in my Minecraft days. Jungle. We have jungle. And this one I also went a bit odd with, because I really want to accentuate the kind of overgrown, just surrounded by tall trees kind of vibe. And so I made a camouflaged house. It's not completely camouflaged, but definitely if this was in a jungle, you wouldn't see it. You would be lost for days trying to find your home, which I think would be kind of funny. But on the inside, it's very cozy. I like how it's, despite how small it is, it still has room to put your chests, put the furnaces, a crafting table, a light source, the bed, and if you want to, you can even make a little mine underground. It's completely up to you. You can make a second floor, and I just reckon this is very different to what I usually build. I don't usually build a very nature taking over kind of build. It's not completely camouflaged, I will agree, but on first look, it does hide pretty well amongst all the jungle trees. You can hardly see it. So yeah, I think this is a cute build which definitely was a lot of fun to experiment with. I tried to make it at least have a nice look about it, and I think I managed that despite it just being a box. Yeah, just a box with a roof. Sometimes with any kind of build, you don't need to go too far overboard. It's nice to make something cool and extra, but sometimes it's fun just to go really down to roots and just build something a bit obscure. Warped wood. I think warped wood was probably the most cutest one I decided to build. Out of all the houses I made, this is probably the most normal looking place. Now it's not that normal out of any context whatsoever, especially once you get inside, because this is a nether house, and nether houses are full of lava. You like what I did? I made floating lava because with the lichen. Filled it with chests, I put the orange bed, more chests, and when you wake up in the morning, you better prepare to drop into lava. Now of course, when you're actually in the nether, this wouldn't work. This would not work. But for this case, I just think a nice bed with it, and maybe putting in a piglin or something, and making it a piglin's house would be very funny. It has to be a zombie piglin, because piglins do burn in lava. Other than that, it would be very funny indeed to just have a zombie piglin as a pet, naming it, and putting it into one of these rooms. Because it's very cute, it's simplistic. There isn't too much going on, but at the same time, there is a lot. Because it's only a small plot, you couldn't go too extra with the outside details. But it's very simple, it has a nice doorway, and this just represents smoke. Which somehow it does pretty well, I don't understand how. But if you're not looking at it properly, it does kind of resemble smoke, which was nice. Time for the most fun one, crimson. Now from what you can see right now, you're probably wondering, what did I do? I made a shelter. Honestly, I was tempted to do this because, well, it just seemed like a fun idea. Plus, you have to imagine that this place is much bigger and built for a much bigger area, so that these side areas don't really stand out as such. But with the small area that I have, I could only squeeze them in there. So I just added a little joke to it, being like, joke to go with in this part, which we will go more into once we get to the story phase of each base. But basically it has everything you need with a brewing area and a sleeping area. I would have put more in here, but there was lack of room. So basically it's a well guarded area with just a walkway through there. And I think it turned out very cool indeed. There isn't too much to it, admittedly, like it could definitely use more, but as I said, it's definitely a build that's probably meant for a much bigger space, so that you could add in the little secret side areas so that you can secretly hide with like secret pistons pulling them out and everything. Because right now, everything is very obvious, you can see where everything is. You come walking in here, you do that, you steal from there, and that just happens like that. You can even craft from here. So that'll be it for part 4 of the Wood Wars series. This was a lot of fun, and as you can see, I have taken away all the little stripes and I have filled in the blanks. So I have made each build into a completed build, which I think looks absolutely amazing. I'm really proud of it. Now I do have an extra episode, which isn't as big as these ones of course, but that episode is seeing my storytelling, where I'm experimenting with storytelling and applying a story to each and every build, which I've been getting a lot of inspiration from various creators, namely at this moment in time from Rusty. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun with getting everything done, and I'm super proud of it all. So I hope you all have a lovely day, lovely nights, whatever time it is for you. I hope it's absolutely lovely. And of course, have a wonderful time, and I love you all. We're doing amazing out there. You're doing amazing. Keep up the good work. We're in it together.